Hey, Sister T-Bear here. Hi. I wanted to show the first one to have it like as if you would get it. So you're going to get it in a baggie. If you have the part up that on the baggie that let me show you. That is the title of the baggie. It's going to be easier. You just pull it down and then you pull this part up. Everything should be sealed. I'm hoping that they stay sealed. They're pretty tight. It's kind of like a Tupperware, a cheap Tupperware. So when you get it, you take it and you hold it down on one side and pull up on the other. And then go around it to get it to release. Okay? This one's old, so it has some paint on the outside because I used it to pour. Okay, so anyway, blank canvas, pins on the bottom side to hold it up. Try to get a level spot on your surface. You will have a 2x2 foot plastic thing to put down. I have this all over my table, so I'm fine. So anyway, open them up. Decide what you're going to use as a base, because that base will need to be thinned out to help the other paints roll off. I don't think I mentioned that before. And so I'm going to use my white as the base, but I'm not going to thin it out until I used it in my cup, because I'm going to try to do another ring pour for you. And then, I gotta be careful because mine is sticking to the sides. Of course, the way you put it on is the way you put on a Tupperware thing. You start with it on there on one end, and then you roll your fingers around, pushing down until it clips in. If you don't use all your paint, that's one way to save your paints, okay? Now I'm going to use my old sticks for stirring, okay? And this is my 5-ounce cup that you'll get, okay? Now I don't want to use it all the first try. And you've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and this is 5. So even if you just use this much, you'll have paint left over. And you can either use it to play. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I'm going to stir it, get some of the bubbles out because it will have been shaken up. This is pretty thin to start with. It only stays above the rest of the paint for like a second. Okay? So that's pretty thin. I might not use much of that in my paint. But maybe because mine have sat a while, all of them might be close to just 1 second. So you take it, you stir it. Try to keep your stick inside there. Don't if you go like this, you're going to whip more air in there. You probably don't need air, okay? So then 2, 3. Okay, this is a 3-second. It takes 3 seconds for the little bit of mound. See, it doesn't matter what color I use, because these are all dried paints. And they've been dried for more than 2 weeks. So you stir it around, stirring the sides, okay? Lift it up, drop it down. It's plopping. That means it's too thick, okay? Like I said, I've had these sitting around for a couple of days. Well, probably a week. Okay, so I'm going to add water to that. I'm going to check my blue now. Oh, I don't know if any of you can see this, but it's super thick. So I'm going to have to add water to that, I believe. Now, part of it was thinner than the rest. Now, if you get these cold, which sometimes I turn the heat off up here, they'll get thicker. That's thick. And I didn't bring another stick over here. I'll have to get one. Okay, I grabbed a brand new one. Weird, I thought I had 5. This one's thick also. So that has been sitting and thickening. Plop, plop. Okay. I have a squirt bottle with some water in it. If you're going to add water to it, only a little bit, because actually your paints will be up pretty high. You might have to get yourself another little cup to do that with. And I'm walking to get my little squirt bottle with water in it, okay? I don't have very much in here, but hopefully it won't take much, okay? So this one's perfect. This one's a little thin. This one needed water. I'm only adding about a half a teaspoon, okay? All right. Now you stir it again, and you got to stir it pretty good, okay? And even a half a teaspoon might end up being too much, but I want it to run off of my stick, and it's still not running off. It's flopping down in there. So I'll add just a little bit more. I hope everyone enjoys this. It would have been really nice when we can get together, and maybe Sister Hafner will let us do it again. So yeah, this is staying up 2 to 3 seconds. You probably can't see it on my camera. Well, it's my phone camera. You probably can't see when I let it go into there, but you will be able to see it yourself. Sorry, I have to agitate this because it wasn't blending very good, and still plop plop. I have some paper towel here for me, and you probably should get your own paper towel and have it handy. Okay, I'm going to stir this first. So if you hold it down on your table, okay, if you hold it down on your table, it's easier, because if you're not holding it down and you're stirring it to get it thinned, plop plop. So I had gotten my yellow correct. Now we have to work on the red and blue. I'm still trying to keep my stick in the paint. If you pull your stick out of the paint, it could get real messy on you. Okay? It could come out. What am I doing? I'm doing red. A little bit more on the red. A little bit more on the blue. Okay? So for me, it took another teaspoon or so to get these thinned out. So just a warning, if you let your paint sit and you don't do this activity right away, it's going to thicken up on you. So I've told you the few things that I really wanted to make sure. Oops. I stuck my hand in the way. Okay. I'll move that back so it doesn't. Still not running off. You want it to run off your stick. And really make sure you have it in a spot where it's going to not be disturbed. Nobody's going to pick it up. You're not going to have it too cold. You're not going to have it too warm. If it stays really warm, sometimes it does harden pretty good. But between 60 and 70, if you got it in a room where you got things going. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that one's good. Now the blue. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm just gonna do another ring pour. I'm gonna try to do it quickly. I'm sending my phone number with everybody. If the parents would want to send me a picture of what they did, that would be fun. I'd really love to see what you do. And I know that all of the primary and your activity leaders would love to see the work that you do. And whatever is not so pretty to you might be pretty to somebody else, but try to make it your own. You can add different things to it. I posted this one video and I want to show you that I took the yellow after it dried and made the star look a little better. Okay. I just put a drop of yellow in the middle and pulled it out with a regular stick. And that's probably where my other stick went to, because I used it on that yellow there. Huh. Very, very thick. So you get a little extra paint when it gets too thick. I wouldn't want to keep it in, the cold below 60 degrees for too long. But I did have the heat off up here for a couple of days because I wasn't coming up here for anything. I was working on other things. Getting ready for Christmas. Decorating. Some of the contents in some of the videos, besides the ones that are for the primary, I was going through different phases of my recovery from having heart surgery. So if you don't want to listen to my little spiels, then you can stop watching this afterwards. Oh, come on, please drop. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good enough. Okay. Okay. All right. The cup. If you have silicone, you could put a little bit of silicone in this, but not in your not anymore in your paint. I just put a few drops in here. Okay. White is gonna be my base. I'm gonna put it on the bottom. Okay, it's very thin, so pretty thin. So I'm doing white. Yellow looks pretty good next to white, but we're going to do red, yellow, and blue again. But I'm going to do it so that I have big layers of each. Now, when I put this yellow on the red, what do you think is going to happen to some of it? I am intermixing them. My stick is getting in the way from the flow. And yellow and blue make green. But anyway, then I want to add black in here to darken some of it up, okay? And I'm doing it different than the other ring pour where I just poured on the side. Okay. Okay, now take the stick out because they tend to be getting in the way when I'm pouring. Little notes to yourself. Oh, I did yellow before I did red. I don't think it makes too much of a difference. This red is still kind of thick. So I'm putting red and blue together. It kind of makes a purple, just so you know. All right, I'm going to use the rest of that for on top. I'm going to stop now see if I have enough paint. The other thing you can do is double pour over it. There's a little bit of blue here. I'm going to thin it out by just wiping it. Okay. White's my thinnest. That's going to be the base because the other paints will roll better on a thinner base. Okay. That's a really good tip, okay, because I haven't said that in the other videos. I'm just pulling some of it out to the sides because I'm going to turn around and try to pour the whole thing off of here. But you could keep going. I'm moving this out of the way. Like I said, I wanted to try to make this fast. I wish if somebody's watching and they know how to help me figure out how to get it to go fast forward, I'd love it. I should experiment with playing with my phone, right? So I'm pulling it all the way off to the sides instead of just having it there in the center. And I'm going to just brush the corners so it might be easier for the paint to flow off the edge nicer. I'm not going to paint the whole sides. Okay. So here's my cup. And I'm going to just pour. Okay. I'm trying to get it right in the center. We're having a lot of black. Of course, that's going to be going off first. Now red and yellow. White. Blue. Here's the blue. Now you could take your canvas and turn it a little bit. I just kind of messed it up by turning it. I'm doing a little shake. And then I'm going to do a straight pour again. If my hand will let me, okay? So here we go. This is the end. Alright, some of it's already starting to make little bubbles. You let it set for just a few seconds. A good idea is to have a nice wet towel to wipe off your containers of your paint. Okay, I'm going to move it a little bit. And I'll say in some of the other videos for primary colors about my torching. But for this, I'm going to let it go and not do the torching. But you still should let it run slowly. Slowly but surely. If I can get it to go off of the edge without adding more paint to the surface, I'll do that. As it is now, the colors of paints are going over top of the black that was originally poured. I'm trying not to go off the edges yet. See, there's a lot of white in the center. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, with my cup, I'm going to put a little bit more color in there. I'm still trying to get it so that it's more in the center. It's running off my fingers now. I'm not using my cardboard. I'm assuming some people don't have cardboard to catch the paint. This is the correct size that you'll be given, which is a 12 by 12. Okay, I'm going to bring this over. For some reason, and it happens sometimes, the black is more concentrated on one side than it is on the other side. But I'm going to let this run off. And since I already used up my whites, I'm going to add a little black on the other side. Actually, I'm running out of black now because the colors are going over the edge here. Okay. Bringing the color back to the center. Have a lot of green. Now that I've got it close to the center, wait a minute, let me get this off the edge. Okay. I'll bring it back again. I'm going to take some that's on my hand and do a pull. Even though this is green, I pulled the black over the edge. I have a cloth. Get some of that paint off my fingers. And I use my cleaning cloths. I just wash them in a regular load of laundry, and they turn out pretty good. All right, I'm going to put this in the center. And then when I put the other paint on in the middle, it will push the white out of the center. So this was my cup, and it had some white in it. I can put, and I'm going to, because I want to push it off more this edge than the other, but I'm going to, if I do this and add just a little bit of white, it's going to, when I twist it and turn in it, it's going to get better. So I'm going to add just a little white right here. I'm scraping as much as I can off of this to add some thicker white right here, because I really thinned it out pushing it to the edge. Okay, so got a lot of red in there already. How about we do blue? And I'm going to let it go off the edge here, or down this way. Red, yellow, and blue, yellow, red. I was thinking of the primary song. 1, 2, 3, red, yellow, and blue. Okay, then I'm going to add a little bit of black again. And I want blue. Okay. Ready? Here we go again. I'm going to go up high, actually. Okay. So I'm only about 2 inches up, and then I'm going to go up higher. And yes, it is zigzagging. I'm wiggling it. Now I'm just doing a straight pour because my hand stopped jiggling. So you can jiggle on purpose. That's not really wasn't really my intent, but that's what happens sometimes as you're getting older. Okay, and it turns out they turn out beautifully. So now I've got a lot more paint in the center. And I'm still going in a circle to try to get those paints to move closer together. That is in the center. But I would love to take this after I get done and add glitter. You can get glitter glue really cheap. You can keep this white. I don't know how much of this white I'm going to save, but I love the sides of this. Well, it's my right hand side in the front towards the camera. I'm hoping to stretch this out. I got to stretch it this way and then stretch it the other way. There, I got rid of some of the things. I'm going to stretch it back this way till that middle of the white is in the center again. But I could stretch it even more to get a different look. I'm pushing a lot of the black off. I'm making it swirl back at me. Trying to get the center so it's not perfectly round. It's almost perfectly round. Okay, I'm going off and then going back. I do want to get this off the edge still. Close to being in the center. And then pulling it this way so that most of the heavy part of the paint is going to that corner. So you want the corner over top of your cloth that you have. And then I'm bringing it back. Now, to get the sides looking nice afterwards, you turn around and you if you haven't seen in my earlier ones, you put your fingers over it. If you can let it get on the top and drip down itself with some nice color, like maybe I want more of this red and white color. It's on my finger, and I just kind of let it fall down. And I'm doing this corner too because I can see that corner is, your hands will be wet, okay? So, and then wipe the bottoms of it and let it fall on the cloth. Okay? Some people take all the colors that they get and they mix them together, and I've done that before to have something more. I also take some of these drippings and make jewelry. So can you? But this is pretty good. I'm going to run so I can touch the camera and get my hands totally clean. And bring you down, okay? Okay, let me go get my phone, and I shall, here's the pause.